Hey everyone, so I got another gun to do a video on. Yes, this is an age. It doesn't look like anything special from the outside, but it's got some pretty cool internals. So this is a guy's brother-in-law. I built him a DSG. I think he plays over in Pennsylvania, I think is where he's from. And so they play out there at like battlegrounds, and then also a paintball place out there that's outdoor, and then also some small place that they play at with like their friends, I guess, that's indoor. Some like really small warehouse that they kind of just go at and shoot each other, friends, I guess. I don't think it's a legit field like a warehouse. So for indoor, this will work there too. So that's mainly what it's used for, indoor. Could it be used outdoor? For sure, but it's tailored for an indoor gun. So I'll start from the front. Obviously this is 3D printed. I think he asked me if he needed a ship with an orange tip on it, and I told him, it's a good idea, and so I think he printed it. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if he has like a suppressor or a black flash hider on there or whatnot. It's just the standard G&G, CM16 CQB, so it's the plastic rail, plastic receiver, Tango down style grip. It's got the sling mount here, metal buffer tube, and then the crane stock. I do have the pieces for the back. The hop-up is completely stock, barrel, bucking, and unit. Okay. As far as the gearbox, it has a BTC Chimera, so I don't normally use those. This is the Mark III, so it is the Bluetooth version, which is really cool. It came out not actually too long ago, probably 2 years now. They released the Mark III of the Chimera, because the Mark II is kind of the Bluetooth is just awesome. Spectres are still preferred in my opinion, but the Chimeras are a close second. So the board sits in the buffer tube, so he's going to have to be really careful with those wires popping out. I made sure they were very nice and tight, so I told him not to mess with this. Don't put your stock in and out a bunch. I told him what batteries to get. They're going to be 1200 milliamp or 1300. I think they're 12, but they're nunchucks, so they're in 3 parts, and they're really thin. So he's going to put 2 down one side and 1 down the other, because with it all put together, the 3 cells, it's too big, doesn't fit. So that's why he needs it split up. It has a ZCI balance motor. It has SHS. I think they're 12 to 1s, but I think they're 13 to 1s. Either way, they're both compatible with each other. They're like 1 RPS difference if you really break it down. So it's one of those. They're SHS brand new with the sector chip on there. It also has an SHS metal rack piston, the stock piston head, stock cylinder head, a different nozzle on here, and then a different tappet plate. And then I cut the tappet plate return spring so that it seals up properly, basically. I did shorten the trigger pull. It's not super short, it being a Chimera and not a Spectre or the Mark II. The trigger, the actual switch is just like what's on a Polar Star Jack. So not like a Fusion engine or like a Spectre Mark II. Again, it's more like a Jack. So there's some play there, but you'll see the trigger response. It's amazing. In terms of settings, I have no active braking, no pre-cocking. It's cycle completion. The spring is pretty much always forward because it has a heavier spring. I did forget to mention it's not shooting the FPS that it should. I was having problems with the tappet plate, the nozzle, the hop-up, the combination between all those parts, and I've had that with G&Gs before, and I haven't really been able to diagnose what the actual one problem is. So in this case, it was just using a heavier spring. So I think it's about an M115 in here, and it is shooting about 350 with the .2. So lower FPS than it should be, but still 350. He'll be able to play indoor and out with this. So again, this is about the battery that he's going to use. I have no idea how this one's charged. My charger is being used right now. Burst. Yeah, there's 3. So 3 round burst. What? Semi-auto, it's pretty good. And it seems like it's hitting decently. I could see using this outdoor. I've played with guns like this outdoor all the time. 3 round burst again. Pretty quick. So I can tell that it's pre-cocking on 3 round burst. So when you go to basically stop playing. He's going to shoot semi-auto. Shoot semi a couple times and then unplug your battery. So you don't keep your spring compressed, otherwise your FPS will drop. Alright, so I have it overhopped right now, so it's like for outdoor use, and it's shooting 200 feet, I kid you not. It's pretty impressive. And it's pretty windy out here, but still is not affecting the range. Issues. Trigger response is pretty good. Again, it's on cycle completion. There is no pre-cocking. But you can still go in pretty fast. Let's try some burst here. Seems to feed pretty good on the burst. Every now and again a skip. But it's actually a pretty quick burst too. Again, this gun on full auto would be doing about 30 rounds a second. So that's pretty nice. I would definitely recommend 2.5s indoor and out. Just exclusively 2.5s is going to be good for this thing. Alright, let's see how we do on those trees out there, the furthest ones. It's probably about 140 feet, and they're not dropping at all. Again, I have it overhopped a little bit, and there's no drop. Very consistent. The only thing that's really a con about this gun is the selector switch. It's really tight. Now it works. In fact, the safety actually works. When you flip to safe, it actually functions. I don't have the battery plugged in right now, but when you go from safe to semi, it's hard to turn off. And same thing with turning it back on. So honestly, I just probably recommend just leaving it on semi. Playing with it, you can switch from safe, from semi to auto, totally fine. But when you go to safe, it's just tight. And I made sure it's not damaging anything. It's not. Trust me, it's not. Nothing's being damaged in there. The reason why the selector switch is like that is because I had to use a piece of heat shrink on the selector plate for both buttons to be pushed down for semi and full auto. So, in other words, when I go to safe, it's actually dragging the heat shrink across the metal, basically. So it's not tearing it. It's just basically bumping the selector plate out a little bit so that it can clear it, because it's not ripping it, because it's not that tight. But it's just kind of annoying. So I would just recommend just leaving it in one of these modes. Just your trigger finger. Don't have your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to go shoot. So this build actually turned out pretty good. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.